Good day, residents of the city of Bulawayo. My name is Sikhanyisile Sibanda. I'm a Divisional Environmental Health Officer in the city under the Health Services Department. Today we want to talk about water quality monitoring, which I am sure is topical these days. And it is one of the mandates of the Health Services Department to make sure that water quality is monitored in the city. So where we come in terms of water quality monitoring is monitoring the quality of the water at your end user point. So what happens is that our water is treated at the different treatment works and then distributed along the piped water systems to the end users, where we expect that the water is protected whilst it is being distributed. So it is now at the end point user that the health services comes in to make sure that during the distribution of the water through the piped system, nothing happened to jeopardize the quality of the water. So what happens is that as a city we used to have 60 water sampling points. To date we have increased the sampling points to 100. So each point is supposed to be sampled at least fortnightly, which means each point is sampled twice a month. That means each and every month we should have collected 200 samples of water to monitor the quality of the water. So how our sampling points are distributed around the city, you will know that we have different reservoirs that provide the city of Bulawayo with water. So we make sure that all of our sampling points are covering those reservoirs, because we want to make sure that each reservoir is distributing water that is of a good quality. So every month we will collect our 200 samples of water to make sure that the water is safe for our residents. In the event that something has happened along the distribution line and the water is compromised, we will then see it in the results that will then come out. So we send our water samples to Criterion Laboratory, where they test our water. And for quality control purposes, we send our samples. Every quarter we send to the Standards Association of Zimbabwe Laboratory for quality control purposes, so that we are sure that whatever results are being produced by Criterion Lab are also up to standard. So that is our quality check that we have put in place to make sure that the residents of Bulawayo are receiving water that is of a good quality. In the event that something does happen along the line, we quickly communicate the results to the engineers that are responsible for the treatment of the water at the treatment works. So you will notice that, like I said earlier, our sampling points are dotted around the different reservoirs. So when we collect our water samples, you will find that maybe each reservoir has about on average 15 sampling points. So if most or all of the sampling points within that reservoir are showing to have a problem, then we know that probably the problem lies along the line of that reservoir. So it needs to be attended to. But if it's sporadic case results, for example, find that one point in one reservoir is affected, then another point in another reservoir is affected, probably that is a localized problem. This is where we also expect that our environmental health officers, together with the engineering department, will go to the ground to investigate the problem on ground. For example, it could have been a localized contamination or problem that could have happened during the distribution. For example, maybe a break in the line. For example, I'm sure most of us have come across water bursts. So anything could have happened along the line, and an ingress of dirt or soil could have got into the pipes, resulting in unsatisfactory water at the end point. So we need to make sure that we find these points and they are fixed and the water quality is restored to its best quality. When there is a problem with the water quality from the sampling points that I've been talking about, we involve engineering services, because in the city of Bulawayo, the water treatment and the distribution is the responsibility of the Engineering Services Department. This is why when we find that the results are unsatisfactory, our environmental health officers, together with the engineering services department, will go to the area to investigate and find out what the problem is that needs to be attended, and then that problem is attended together with the engineering services. Sometimes it may involve different ways of addressing the problem. It could be an issue of a broken pipe, which means that pipe needs to be replaced. It could be an issue of some end caps needing to be cleaned. So the involvement of engineering services will also assist because of their expertise in knowing what needs to be done at the point of contamination. Of course, we do get complaints as a department. Some people will call us to tell us that their water is smelling, that their water is coming out with the funny color. As we all know, water is supposed to be colorless, odorless, and tasteless. So once any of those qualities is compromised, then there is a challenge. So we generally would not recommend that anyone who is suspicious of their water to drink water that they can obviously see is brown in color or green in color, which means that there has been contamination along the distribution line. So we'd encourage that residents, when they see that the water quality is compromised, either through the smell of the water, the color of the water, or the taste of the water, that they do not drink this water. They should wait until the problem has been rectified, allow the water to run out until it comes out clear. And this is where we are also encouraging as a department that people should ensure that they boil their water before drinking it or before using it for other uses like cooking and hand washing. So you can run that water to waste, or actually we would not say run it to waste, because as a city we know we have perennial water problems. So we'd encourage that this is the water you can then use to water your gardens and clean outside the yard and stuff like that, other than drinking the water.